It is still the conversation, and thank you for staying tuned. National Youth Day is celebrated annually on the 1st of November, and the theme for this year is Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century. And our conversation today is taking a cue from that theme, and we'll be discussing preparing youth for the 21st century. It is essential that youth are equipped with the skills, values, and knowledge required for them in the modern era. Joining us today to explore this topic is Victor Adogbajale. I hope I got that right. He is the Public Relations Officer of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah. So looking at the theme for the National Youth Day, Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century, it's quite a powerful theme.
Yes,
In your view, what do you think are the core competences that a youth would need to thrive in the 21st century?
Well, thank you very much. Once again, I am Victor Adogbajale, the Public Relations Officer of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. I greet you. Let me say, number one, the natural characteristics of a youth is the agility. So we are known to be agile, to be active, and to strive amongst every other thematic areas of humanity. So one thing a youth needs to thrive, particularly in Africa, considering nature and economy, is perseverance, because we understand the situation of the economy, particularly in Africa, and we understand the level at which we are when it comes to technology compared to other Western world. So it's perseverance, and also to be intentional about learning, because in being intentional about learning, we also give you the opportunity to get in line with exposures and opportunities out there. So when you're intentional about learning and gaining knowledge, you'll be connected with opportunities and whenever they arise. Thank you.
Okay. I like the facts that, you know, preparing youth for the 21st century. And so when you talk about the 21st century, technology is key.
Yes.
And so how do we begin to ensure that youths are learning the right skills in this technological driven era? Because we've also realized that there are a lot of young people online, but are taking in the wrong things and are just equipping themselves with the wrong information. So how do we begin to channel the energy of young people towards technology and using that technology for analytical thinking and problem-solving skills?
Okay, thank you very much for that. My interaction with a DPO sometimes back, he said something. He said, crime and criminality is as old as the world. So we cannot totally eradicate, but we can actually reduce the rate. So one thing we have been doing at the aims of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, because we came on board in July 2024, this administration came on board in July, ably led by the chairman, engineer Adigun Ibrahim. So one thing we have been doing is to ensure that our structures, because the National Youth Council of Lagos State has structures across all 57 local governments, and we also have structures in youth organizations. So we ensure that we engage our structures effectively to change the narration and the narrative, because we understand that a lot of youth, or let me say innately, youths are more exposed to the negative things than the positive things, and we are attracted to things that are negative than positive things. That's majorly the general. So one thing we have been doing at the aims of the National Youth Council is to change the orientation of people and to also give sense of belonging to those who are involved in all these activities, because we don't come on board to claim, okay, we are the same youth, we are the ones who know about governance, we are the ones who are, so we ensure we go to the grassroots to give sense of belonging to every other youth, the formal and the informal youth, as we call them. So we give sense of belonging and we change their mindset. We make them understand things that they can actually do with their life to make them better than what they've always been.
Can you give examples of some of those things?
Okay, that's what I was about to mention.
Go ahead.
So couple of months back, that's on the 15th of July, that's World Youth Skills Day, the National Youth Council of Nigeria Lagos State Chapter, we engaged all our structures, all the 57 local governments, and also the over 50 youth organizations. We went on for a challenge.
Okay.
That day we even made it known that Lagos youth will be busy today. So the challenge was to ensure that every youth organization of the Youth Council engages in one skill acquisition training for youth in their local government.
Okay.
Be it soft skill, be it hard skill, be it tech skills. So the whole of Lagos State structures of Youth Council that day, we were teaching, even in my own local government, the members of some went into schools, some went to the grassroots, some went to malls just to get people.
Okay.
Fine, we have structures, but then we did something we call training of the trainees, because we have undergone one or two
So you
trainings.
needed to impart.
Exactly. So we
Right.
were trying to bring sense of belonging and to engage every other youth. So last month, September 28th and 27th, we also partnered with AWS Visa Group, West Africa, the National Youth Council. We partnered. So we trained and certified close to 1,000 youths on tech skills.
Okay.
So these are the things we have been doing since we came on board to ensure that the 21st century we are able to complement the effort of the government.
All right, there's one other issue, brain drain. You have a lot of young Nigerians, youth, seeking to go outside the country to look for greener pastures. And if everyone keeps going out, who then develops our land here? So what are you doing also as a council to ensure that youths stay and build up the economy here?
Yeah. As we usually say it on the street, we call it Japa. So we understand that we understand the situation of the country, and we understand what the government is doing to curb the situation, particularly economy-wise, and we understand that a lot of people are trying to leave. So one of the things we have been trying to ensure, aside the opportunities and the tech skills we have been giving out, is a couple of days back, we inaugurated directorates. So these directorates are those that will be like the field marshals assisting the executives across all senatorial districts, all local governments in Lagos State. So what they do is to get opportunities. So we have directorate for health, we have directorate for ICT, we have directorate for education. So these are the people who are going to be knocking on doors of agencies, and because we know that one of the reasons why people are actually leaving the country is because they feel there is greener pasture outside. So we have engaged people, we have engaged experienced people that, okay, you are the ones, we can't do it alone. We need hands also. So these are the people who are going to be knocking on doors of agencies, private organizations, supporting the executive council to ensure that we get opportunities and we channel it to our youths, because a lot of youths don't even know what to do with their life. A lot of youths are graduated, they don't know what's next. So if aside the government, we are coming as a youth body, as an intermediary between the government and the youth on the street, then we should be able to bring opportunities closer to our youths. So these and many more have been one of the things we have been doing to ensure that, and also we have been engaging in sensitization and reorientation programs. So these are the things we actually have been doing to ensure that our youth, and we even thank the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, in his team's agenda. Entertainment is there, because there is something that has been keeping Nigerians active, and that's the entertainment industry, if we must be sincere with ourselves. So entertainment industry and social media. So entertainment, tourism, the governor, he has shown keen interest in his agenda. That's he even made it Teams Plus agenda. So inclusion of social activities and youth. So we could see that he has been engaging with one or two, even musicians and all of this, because we can't totally leave the entertainment industry. And this is one of the things that has been keeping our youth active. So on behalf of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, appreciate the governor for that. So, and we are also complementing the effort of the governor.
Right. So when you walked into the studio this morning, one thing fascinated me, and that you're dressing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's pretty difficult in recent times to find young people embracing our culture. Everybody wants to not wear the traditional attire, and when you wear, you do not even want to wear the cap. And so is that also part of what you do to ensure that young people respect their various culture, most importantly, and not lose our values? A lot of young people will not speak their languages. They think it is archaic. A lot of young people, when you speak Yoruba to them, they would respond to you in English, and you ask, surely so Yorubani. So is that also part of what you're doing as part of awareness to ensure that preparing young people for the 21st century we also still keep our culture, our norms, and our values intact?
Okay, thank you very much. First thing is preparing youth for 21st century is not limited to tech alone. It's also part of the sustainability of our culture. So there's something I've always learned about, that's diversity in unity.
Right.
And I'm sorry, unity in diversity. And also that is how we, now bringing it back to the 21st century, is maintaining our culture the way it should be in the modern era. So these are the things, I think I said earlier that we also do sensitization. We go to schools to ensure, because we understand that the younger generations, because the 21st century is going to have a couple of generations. We still have it to 2100. So a couple of generations are still coming. So if we as young people trying to ensure that we maintain our culture, we also have to preach it. We have to dress it also. Fine. Even when I came on board joining the advocacy group, the National Youth Council of Nigeria, there are some things that were not part of me before. But because you want to ensure that this thing is right, this thing is replicated, you have to do it also.
Okay.
So it's one of the reasons I'm dressed this way.
Okay, I hope it's not just a studio appearance. Okay.
All right. So substance abuse among young people is one issue that has, you know, it's a growing concern. Now, for a youth who wants to thrive in the 21st century, what are you doing, or as a council, how are you engaging youth, you know, to ensure that they keep away or stay away from substance abuse so that they can thrive in the 21st century?
Okay, thank you very much. At the stable of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, during the International Youth Day, August 12th, we had a week-long program from the ending of August, because we believe that the beginning of August was busy because of the impending protest and all of that. So during the ending of August and even before, we engaged in a week-long program, and the program had a couple of activities. Part of it, we had unity and novelty match, because we understand. So we went to the slum. So these are the things we usually do, because we understand that people who engage in substance abuse, they usually give themselves an abode in secret places. Okay. So we try to go to these places. Part of our activities, we go into the abode of those people. We don't come to them as if we are coming to preach. Right. We come to them as if we want to understand how and why you are doing this. So we make them understand that we didn't also, we were not raised from gold. We also started from the scratch, and we kept scratching. So these are the things we engaged in during the International Youth Week. Also, during our International Youth Day, the major program, we engaged in a youth leadership workshop, whereby we had convergence of close to 5,000 people at Ikorodu. So these are the things we usually do to ensure we understand that amongst us, or let me say, the major consumers of drugs are young people. Right. So these are the things we do, because we don't disenfranchise people and we don't detach ourselves from them. So we bring them along. We understand that if a substance abuser moves with someone who doesn't abuse substance, for a couple of years, it's going to be, to certain extent, a level of change in the person. So it might not be totally overnight. It's just gradual. Thank you.
Right. I mean, you've talked about technology literacy. One thing I've also in recent times found out is a lot of young people are also lagging behind when it comes to financial literacy. Okay. Have you also thought about this? And I mean, if you're preparing one for tomorrow, a better tomorrow, now is the time to start teaching budgeting. Now is the time to start teaching saving. Now is the time to start making people understand why they need to invest when they have new small change. Because when you have small change, you probably think of, well, the first thing is maybe to buy a trainers.
Designers.
You know, that's the first impression. So is that a thought, or are you also looking in that direction where financial literacy is also one of the things that you start making young people come in contact with?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Part of our incorporation since we came on board, we are going to launch officially soon, but we have started the Lagos Youth Development Initiative Institute. So this institute is going to train a lot of young people. It's going to be like an academy. Okay. So it's going to train a lot of young people both youths from the slum, both youths on the island, both on the mainland, and every cadres of youth. So what we want to do is to bring a balance to ensure that, okay, we have every aspect of youth. So now what the institute is going to be doing is to teach on all these aspects you have mentioned, both the financial literacy, even moral literacy, parliamentary proceedings, policy making, and every other thing. So that is one of the, we understand that we can't do it all, but then we are putting a mechanism in place, just like the Lagos Youth Development Institute that week. The same day we inaugurated the directorate, we inaugurated the Director General for the Lagos Youth Development Initiative, which is going to kickstart soon.
Okay, you have spoken about we have done this, we have done that, we have done this, we have done that. So now, let's talk about the role of the community, the family institution, the schools. What roles do we have to play, to ensure that our young people position themselves, to thrive in the 21st century?
Well, I will go by an adage of my fatherland and my mother tongue, which says "Ile Latinko Eshorode," which means charity begins at home. So the role of the family, which is the most immediate community to humanity, cannot be overemphasized. So one thing we have always been agitating for and advocating for is that we try to, in fact, a couple of weeks back, some of the executive of the Youth Council went to different schools, public schools, to engage with the Parent-Teachers Forum to ensure that parents and teachers, they are actually working in tandem. They are working together to ensure the brighter future for young minds. Because if the child is lagging at home and is being equipped at school, by the time the child leaves the school for home, there is still going to be a place that the parents need to come in. So the same thing happens if the parents are also thriving at home and the teacher, there should be a connection. So one thing we have always been advocating for is that parents should also understand that their children and their wards are their future, and the future is even now. So whatever is going to become of Nigeria tomorrow is going to be determined today, because youth and young people constitute over 70% of the population. So whatever paint we give to our youth is what the community is also. So, and from my own locality, Fakojai, just today we are going to be inaugurating, graduating some young people that were taken from the slum. That's by the crime prevention partners. So this CPP is in partnership with the PCRC and Police Division, and just to ensure that there is always peace and safety in the community. So the crime prevention partners as stakeholders. So several stakeholders like Yaloja, Babaloja, CDC, and all of that.
CTA.
So this is not only in my local government, actually. It's spread across other local government, but I'm just using my local government as a case study because that's where I came from. And I'm a member of the CPP also. So these are the things that the community across all local governments should also engage in. So fine, we might have it in certain local governments, but then we should also try as much as possible to ensure that this is spread to all other local governments, so that it doesn't just end at a particular place. And one of the things we are also at the ends of the CPP and National Youth Council also, what we have been doing is also to ensure that we have partnership with bordering communities, particularly in Ogun State, because we understand that Lagos and Ogun, to some extent, there is just a thin line border. So we also partner with the security and the communities of Ogun State to ensure that whatever we are doing at the ends of Lagos State
is also being done so that at least you can have the gap can be closed. So again, we've looked at some of the things that you've done or what you intend to do. I know that you interact with a lot of young people, and so you must have an idea as to some of their challenges, be it with their parents, be it with the community, be it with the schools, be it with themselves and their colleagues. What would you say, or what are some of the challenges that you think young people are facing, or that may limit them from having proper access to all of these issues that you've laid down here today? If we're preparing them for the 21st century, what are some of those issues they are facing with or they are battling with that may hinder some of these things from coming to fruition in their lives?
Okay, thank you very much. One of the things from our conversation and engagements with young people, one thing we understand they've been facing, firstly, is the interaction with parents. A lot of youths are from broken homes, and we understand that when the home is broken, there's always going to be a resultant factor. So a lot of youths are, apart from those who are coming from a broken background, also finance is a major factor, because money is purchasing power. So, and for you to actually live and to thrive, you need purchasing power. So finance also, a lot of people are living below even the minimum wage. So, exactly, that's the truth. So considering the economy, so these are one of the reasons why a lot of youths, and let me say basically on the male gender, there is also this pressure from parents, particularly the uneducated parents. They believe that once they give birth, when they give birth to numerous children, the children at certain very, very young age should start fending for the family, fending for themselves. So this has gotten a lot of young minds, a lot of young guys into pressure to actually fend for homes. So one of the things we have been doing to curb that is to ensure that our youths, we give the sense of belonging and to make them become one of us. And participation, or let me say membership of the National Youth Council, it is not by individuality, it is by organizations. So that's why we have the voluntary organizations, we have the CBUs, that's the community-based organizations. So if you belong to a particular youth organization and you are affiliated with the National Youth Council, when we get opportunities, maybe from agencies, from private organizations, or the ones we create by ourselves, so we are going to bring to our structures, because we can't have everything all up by ourselves. So, and we won't go on, we might not go on the street and say, okay, you are a youth, what's your age? Okay, take this opportunity. We usually try to work with our database, because from all structures, they have database. So these are the people that we engage. So we try as much as possible to get these youths to get to ourselves. And also part of our directorate, we have those who are into the gender and the child and all of this. So these are the people that are actually working on those youths that we feel they are from broken homes or they are living under the minimum wage. So these are the people we bring together, we give them the sense of belonging, and when we come together like that, we ensure that we affiliate them with organizations
you can monitor their growth.
So whenever there are opportunities, we just throw it to the organization. So whenever we have anyone who fits for the opportunity, and
they can
also
pick from
when we pick, we also do monitoring, because a lot of youths, just like in a particular local government where there was empowerment and all of that. So it was at the gates of the empowerment program. A lot of these people were selling their materials and all of that because of money. So we don't just leave people when we give them opportunity. We ensure proper monitoring to ensure that these people, once they have been given this, fine, it might not be rosy from the beginning, but then on the long run, there is definitely going to be a greener light for them. So,
all right. We are people who believe strongly in religion. And so how are you also, engaging with religious leaders, to ensure that you pass this message across to you? Because whether we like it or not, people believe what their pastor says, what their imam says, what their traditional rulers say. They hold it so dearly. So how do you engage these religious leaders to penetrate young minds? Okay.
Just yesterday, myself and a couple of my team, we were at the Christian Association of Nigeria, Ifakojai local branch. So we were with them and we're trying to sensitize the members of the CAN, and also we have planned to go to the Muslim community also. So we at the National Youth Council, we partner with all critical stakeholders. We believe that Christian Association, Muslim Association, the CDC, the CDAs, these are critical stakeholders, because even when we try to preach to those people, they still go back to their churches and their mosques. So just yesterday, we were trying to do this sensitization and to encourage parents to also allow their children to belong to progressive youth organizations. So the National Youth Council, we partner with critical stakeholders, just like the Religious Association. And in addition also, as part of our directorate, we have directorate who will be in charge of religion and ethnics. So those are the things we have actually been putting in place for the administration and for the growth of Lagos State also.
Do you also engage in volunteering? Because we know that a lot of young people start from there. And the more you teach people how to volunteer, and how to give back to their communities without necessarily expecting back.
Okay.
You're also helping them build something and helping them build their psyche.
Yeah.
Is that one thing that you do, and how are young people embracing that fact? Because we know that a lot of young people would not want to do things for you for free.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the act of volunteerism is also an act that should be promoted. So, do you do that, or are you also putting that in your pipeline as to these things that you intend to engage
Okay,
in?
that will bring me to the reality of my own self. I started advocacy by the virtue of my interest in volunteerism.
Okay.
So all the executive, we are actually volunteering. It's not like we are getting salary for this thing.
So, it's just an act of volunteering.
Although we understand that politics has really, really diluted a lot of young people. Their act of volunteerism is now retarded because they believe you go to some
something
places.
has to come out, especially money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you go to places, engage people, and tell them, clean your community, do this, engage in community advocacy and all that. They'll be like, what is it? Exactly. So, but we still have few people, we still have young people who are still ready to put in place acts of governance. So these are the people we engage, and we do not leave those people who still request for something. Because when we make them understand that you're not doing this for the government, you are doing it for yourself. So we actually do that, and we also encourage volunteerism. However, we try to also complement their efforts. Just like I've said, it's not by individuality. The organizations that we understand, like the World Youth Skills Day, the organization that participated the most, that had most population and engaged in several skills, we didn't give them anything monetary, but we gave them an emblem, a kind of award, exactly,
just to
steer them. Exactly. So we did across all senatorial districts. We know that we cannot give them financial rebates for what they've done, but then we can actually make them
thank you
and
understand,
make them understand the value of what they have done in their community and in Lagos State.
Okay. Joy, sorry, a follow-up to that would also be, is there a way you also try as much as possible to sell the idea of politics to young people? Because again, you hear things like, if you can't join them, then don't blame them. And of course, if you also start early and start, showing interest in politics, perhaps also the voices can be loud enough, and then at some point in time, you can then take the bull by the horn. So is there a little bit of politics in your actions?
Okay. Something about the National Youth Council of Nigeria is that we are not apolitical, but we are non-partisan. We understand that a lot of people belong to a bloc or the other, but when we come together, we come to preach and to speak governance and growth of the community. However, we encourage youth in governance. So, and we understand that you might not be able to change the policy if you don't belong to this. So you can't just keep changing things by blackmailing or being just chastising the government and all of that. So you have to be a part of the government also. So we give room for that. And we also encourage, when we see our young people, like our leaders, people who have served at the ends of the Youth Council, who are actually vying for a position or the other. And we know, we go to support them. We go to support them. So what we do basically is just for the, because we understand that we were first in Nigeria before we became a politician. So we don't defer the importance of patriotism to the country. Fine, you might decide to go for a particular political party, but your representation should not be just for the political party, but should be for the community and the growth and development of the country. So,
while you were speaking earlier, you commended the Lagos State Governor for, supporting and empowering youths in Lagos. But looking at the nation generally, what are the gaps that you think the government needs to fill up to equip youths?
Okay, well, we as youth, we are Oliver Twist. We always request for more. So again, I want to appreciate the Governor of Lagos State and Government of Lagos State, even through the Honorable Commissioner, Honorable Mobalaji Ogunlinde. The Government of Lagos State have been doing extremely well. So what I can just say is other states should learn from Lagos State. Fine, we are not at the peak yet, but then the rate at which Lagos State is moving in terms of technology and youth inclusion and engagement should be a kind of testimony and testament to other states. So I just want to enjoin and then urge other state government to also be like Lagos State, because when you look at the economy, Lagos ranks high. So when we look at every other thing, Lagos is just center of excellence. So we are not there yet, but then the rate is keeping up every day. So I think every other state should also.
What are those things you think the state should do?
Should emulate.
Okay, should emulate. Well, engagement with youth, because when we look at, as I've mentioned earlier, the commissioner for youth, when you see him, you know he's a youth himself. So the senior special assistant to the governor on youth is also a youth. Social development is also a youth, the immediate past state chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. So these are the things that actually encourage young people. So, and we also see that this red, blue lane and all of that, that governor has been putting in place, the train and all of that. So these things are, even the members of assembly of transportation in charge of the red line is also a youth, Honorable Adewale Temitope, is still in his 40s. So these are people, these are the things that are actually things that other state government should also emulate, that youth should be at the affairs of so many things, because we understand technology. This is 21st century. Bill Gates said something. He said, the first rule of technology is that it will always change. And the second rule is that it will always change faster. So, and youth are the ones who are at the ends of technology. So for a 21st century, I think every government should include youth in every of their proceedings. So engagement, and also ensuring that, because we have departments at every local government, we have departments, we have supervisors for youth and all of this. So we should also, the government should also ensure the inclusion of active youths in those departments, so that the governments can understand the points of views of the youth, the things that the youth need. Because if we just keep putting, fine, I'm not disregarding the fact that old people are also should be part of the government, because we need their knowledge, we need their experience and all of that. But then we can still create more rooms for the participation of young people, not disregarding the old people.
So we should give more responsibilities to young people and test them in those responsibilities. So before we allow you go this morning, peradventure there's a young person watching today, and the young person feels, oh, is there a need to collaborate with other young people? Is there a need to be around young people? Is there a need to get motivated around young people? I'd like for you to speak to the conscience of such a person this morning, and speak to the facts that indeed young people, you have what it takes to change your environment.
Okay. Well, there is need, and because for so many reasons, Dari Connor said something. He said we will always run after technology and we will not catch up. So, and one way to actually be in tandem with technology is to get yourself acquainted with people who are actually moving. You cannot do it in isolation. So, and opportunities when they come from government also, no governor will not come to number so of street so to say, okay, do you have a young person in this place? It goes to structures. So these are the reasons why you should belong to an organ. I'm coming here not because of my individuality. I'm coming here because of my organization. So I'm representing my organization, I'm representing my local government, I'm representing Lagos State. So these are reasons why youth and young people should belong to a progressive organization. So, and also one thing I just want to tell youth out there is that it is just good to seek knowledge, no matter how difficult it is, because the brain is like vacuum. It is whatever you put in the brain that will remain there. So there is no limit to how much you can learn. I usually say something that even if I will be caught with any crime, it will be stealing knowledge. I love to learn. I love to learn. So we should not limit ourselves to a particular set of knowledge. We should always learn from all cadres, both in religion-wise, any other... Any
opportunity that
exactly. We should always try to get along with other people and also to learn. Just like I said, when we did the 2 days program with AWS and trained close to 1,000 youths. These things, this opportunity didn't just go to the street of Lagos, it went through structures. Exactly. So these are the reasons why you should belong to an organization that is progressive.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Interesting and insightful conversation we've had here today with Victor Adogbajale. Yeah, I got it again. He has spoken extensively on preparing youths for the 21st century. Victor is the Public Relations Officer, the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter. Thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you very much.
All right, the program continues right after. Stay with us.
bá ń dúpẹ́ jálẹ̀.